Ctv3 News. Dengue cases on the rise in the north. The Ministry of Health implements measures to reduce the numbers. Belize represented at the 76th World Health Assembly in Geneva. Minister of Health advocates for better opportunities in the health sector. A vigil in memory of Imari Galvez. And a robbery at neighbors on San Antonio Road. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023.
Special guest in the audience tonight, legendary record executive, Mr. Clive Davis.
My voice is gone.
What?
You start the show tonight. No talking back. I'm your mother.
There's a boy I know. He's the one I dream of.
What's your name again?
Whitney Elizabeth Houston.
Wake up! It's on! It's on! Listen!
How will I know if he really loves me?
My dream, sing what I want to sing, be how I want to be.
I say a prayer with every heartbeat.
Reach as big an audience as I can.
How will I know?
Common criticism of you, your music isn't black enough.
Look, I don't know how to sing black and I don't know how to sing white either. I know how to sing.
I might have just heard the greatest voice of her generation.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's got to have a hook.
The hook?
Yeah.
I'll give it a hook.
Appreciating the reality of aging hospital infrastructure countrywide, while bearing in mind the increasing risk of hurricanes and floods, this UP administration has ramped up efforts to secure capital for new hospital infrastructure to be established in strategic locations. Earlier this year, we were most pleased to secure a $32 million grant from our partner, the Republic of China, Taiwan, to build a new hospital in San Pedro to serve Ambergski and Kikaka. $32 million. Again, the UDP, they claim they put it into their budget for about 3 years, boasting that they will build the San Pedro Hospital. It was never built. It is going to be built by the People's United Party government.
Good evening with your news. Also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. While no official report has been sent out by the police department, we have confirmed that a robbery occurred early this morning on the San Antonio Road here in Orange Walk. Scenes of crime were seen at this neighbor's store around midday today. Off camera, we were able to confirm that the thief came to the store around 12:30 last night and left only to return an hour later on bicycle, but was unable to break the lock. Around 2:38 this morning, he returned with a tool in hand and on foot. He was able to pry open the metal curtain's lock and gains access to the establishment. Once inside, his mission is to get his hands on the cash inside the cash box, which totals $729. Police are looking for one known suspect. Over the last few weeks, the Vector Control Unit in the Ministry of Health and Wellness has been monitoring the situation of dengue transmission here in the north after a hike in cases were reported in both northern districts. While we are currently not experiencing record-breaking numbers like in 2019, with the rainy season looming in the horizon, which means mosquito breeding season, dengue transmission remains an urgent situation that we must all be carefully monitoring. As the country prepares to receive malaria-free certification, Minister of Health and Wellness, Honorable Kevin Bernard, says the ministry continues to work to reduce the numbers of dengue cases reported across the country, with the goal of one day eliminating it from the country completely.
Always a yearly thing that we have to address, and of course we have a team at the ministry that constantly ensure that we go out and do the necessary spraying. We monitor the dengue cases, and of course we always try to encourage people that if they have any object in water settlement to lying around, to try and make sure that they are, those are being removed, especially in this time when the rainy season starts, and the Egyptian mosquito is always lurking around, and so we get affected. I can say that yes, while there may be some issues of some cases in certain areas, I feel that we still have a manageable approach to it. It's not out of the ballpark, as you would say, at a level that is alarming.
Right.
But we have to always keep monitoring. In fact, just 2 days ago, when I was on my way to Geneva, Mr. Bautista, who is the person responsible for the vector control, has identified that they are going to go into all these other communities now and continue to spring work so that we could reduce the spread of those dengue. It is a matter of concern for us, yes, at all times, and we have to make sure that we can continue to keep those at low levels, just as we have done with malaria. We hope that one day we can end the spread of that same type of issue that affects us. Those are the non-communicable disease that we're talking about, and the other issues that prevails in our country and as a region. We have to work with all of us working together to address these issues.
Orange Kenyans are also encouraged, however, to do their part by keeping their yards and surrounding areas clean so as to prevent the breeding of mosquitoes that transmit the disease. Very important to remember also is to keep house windows open whenever the Ministry of Health is conducting spraying activities in order for insecticide to reach mosquitoes inside the home. Kevin Bernard is currently in Geneva, Switzerland for the 76th World Health Assembly taking place from May 21st to the 30th. The event is being attended by ministers of health of all 194 WHO member states and will see various discussions on global health concerns affecting countries around the globe. Since the WHO declared that the COVID-19 pandemic is finally over earlier this year, a major topic of discussion at the Assembly, according to Minister Bernard, is the subsequent response of the global community, which must remain vigilant and unite in preparation for the next threat.
There are several topics being discussed, Kami. As you know, COVID-19 was just declared no longer a matter of worldwide concern, but it's still something that is still around. But there are other challenges. You know that there's issues of the human resource matter. There's issues of the social determinants such as poverty and mental health. That is one of the issues that is plaguing countries across the globe. In Belize, we don't escape from that. COVID just came and ravaged and created much more issues on mental health. You see the issue with Russia and Ukraine, where mental health has been now one of the highlighting topic here at the WHO World Health Assembly being held today. In terms of the other areas we're talking about, how can we continue to reduce the transmission of HIV and syphilis in the globe, and of course how countries are doing. So we in Belize, we have to be able to share Belize's experience, what Belize is doing in terms as a country, as a ministry, to ensure that we are reducing and working and fighting towards reducing the prevalence of HIV, working on terms of making sure that we are addressing our non-communicable diseases such as hypertension and diabetes that is affecting our people, access to medication, the whole issue of affordable vaccines, on the different initiatives that we are doing, such as the Hearts Initiative. And so we are here. Kwame will be very much engaged with the various discussions that will take place over the next few days. As I said, every country that is here, over 160 odd countries here, representing the needs of their country, but of course, we also speak as a region.
As a region, Minister Bernard says CARICOM will also be highlighting challenges affecting health systems which are similar to those also being highlighted by other countries.
During also the meeting with CARICOM ministers and the director of PAHO, where we will be highlighting some of these same points that I mentioned, the social determinants, the issue of human resource in health, the issue of improving our health systems, not only by improving policies, but we also have to look at ways and means how we can benefit from opportunities where our infrastructure in these areas are improved, but as well address the global issue that is facing us, where we have the issues of malaria. In Belize, for example, we are about to be declared malaria-free. We have already at the assessment stage where the mother-to-child transmission of HIV as well. We are working on all of those areas. So as a country, Belize, we have to also highlight the great things that we're doing, but also highlight the challenges that confront us in the case of health. We're going to be talking about the issue of the sweetened beverages and drinks within the primary school and the high school and the tertiary level of education, which relates back to how we live as individuals and as a society. So those are some of the broad topics, and of course there are many other areas as well, coming in terms of budget, finance that are discussed in terms of PAHO requesting an increase in their budget for better allocation to our region, the WHO as well. So as a region, we have to speak out in terms of how can we benefit more from the WHO, how can we benefit more from the technical and cooperation support that we have with PAHO in terms of the areas of interest.
Belize's delegation also includes the Director of Hospital Services and Allied Health, Dr. Jorge Polanco, Delegate Andre Rohanchel from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and the PAHO WHO country representative in Belize, Dr. Bell. As part of the scheduled events during the World Health Assembly, Minister Bernard will deliver his address tomorrow, which seeks to highlight Belize's overall health needs and challenges, including the country's need for universal health coverage and pandemic preparedness. Throughout the duration of the Assembly, the hope, according to Minister Bernard, is to lobby with different entities that can help Belize achieve health preparedness in various areas.
Comes from my statement, I'm speaking on behalf of the country of Belize, and so I have to really cover a broad aspect of the areas that are, which we don't go into detail. However, the interventions that are made and Dr. Polanco, Mr. Chell, who is here with us, they will be making those direct interventions in the other committee rooms that will be addressing those issues. For example, one of the areas that that was being discussed right now are matters of the child and women and children and adolescents. How are we making sure that we are able to address those issues? Um, there is the issue of the universal health coverage. How are we going to attain universal health coverage in the country? We're talking about various themes, and I know we have as well. We want to ensure that we can focus on the whole pandemic preparedness and the response for health emergencies. Those are themes that will be discussed, and we have highlighted our specific interventions that we will be making as a country. When we do these interventions, we have a maximum of 3 minutes to present our points, so we have to be very detailed in our presentation in terms of what Belize expects, what we are doing, but at the same time, how is it that WHO and the policies that are set out, these resolutions that are passed, how does it impact our country, how does it impact our region? There's topics of global health for peace initiatives that will be discussed. The response to public health emergencies, as I mentioned, they're talking about implementing international health regulations across the globe, and in terms of the region, how that is going to affect and benefit us at the same time. We're talking about the whole issue of human resource, health system, and policies within health system.
One major topic which Minister Bernard will also focus on during his address is Belize's support for Taiwan's participation at the Assembly.
I reiterated Belize's position in terms of where we believe that if you are going to talk about driving health for all, then we should not isolate 23.5 million people from having a view and a voice and a say in the case of Taiwan. So we have been saying that, and in my statement, I will reiterate that position as well in terms of Belize's position in support of Taiwan. And it is not only Belize, there are many other countries who have expressed this in their statements. And so we, as a country, as you know, we have great relationship with Taiwan, and we're here also to support them. But Kwame, let me also say, while I have this opportunity to be here, we did today did a very important thing this morning where
The Belmopan City Council organized a candlelight vigil in memory of Imari Galvez, the 19-year-old who was murdered and her nude body dumped 40 miles from the Hummingbird Highway. Galvez, reports suggest, slipped out of her home on Sunday morning with someone she trusted, but that did not end well after she never returned home alive. Father of Imari Galvez spoke to the media about the turnout of the vigil and says he is happy for the support and hopeful that the murder of his daughter can be resolved soon.
When we start walking, the crowd may small, but by the time we reach her, I mean it double and triple, man. People just start to walk out of the houses, out of the street, and just join behind the bandwagon, no? We have to form coalition. We have to pull this off together, man. The community and the police must work together. They must find a trust. The two parties have to find a trust. We need to go back to the days when people made respect the police. Back in my time, when we see a police, they come down the street, we have say, morning officer, morning sir, morning sergeant, or whatever rank they have. Nowadays, when a young man meet the police on the street, they say, watch a fool they come. Why the man they come? I mean, we lose the values, man. And we have to get back to the basics of life. We feel hopeful because whoever get released, if new evidence arises, which I don't believe that they were hold back them persons. And I really believe that we got some good evidence coming forth, and I don't want to mention nothing because, I don't want to interrupt no investigation, no. But we are very hopeful We know the worry who get released. We know that person who get clipped.
Yeah. So one last question. I don't know if you saw the interview over the weekend at the Commissioner of Police, who says that they are investigating, but they do feel as if the family is withholding some information from them. I would like your comments on that.
Man, this is a tough one because all I know is for me, I know withhold no information. But I believe he got a reason why he feel that way, you know. And probably if clear that up, they might have to, you know, visit the family members or the person who might talk where he don't feel like the release all information, no. They could get some clarity in that.
Yeah. But you have been forthcoming with the officers.
Man, if I want to see betterment, I have to be forthcoming. Yeah. And I have to tell every ounce of truth.
The vigil was very much attended, and notably the Belmopan Belize youth movement and the area representative Oscar Mira joined the walk and called for swift justice in this recent homicide.
It's never easy to lose a loved one. Never. But it is worse when you see the circumstances of which Imari has left us. I am appealing to everyone. If anyone have seen, have heard, suspect something, please don't keep it to yourself. Say something. Tell someone. If you're not brave enough to go to the police and say, you know what, this is what I saw, this is what I've heard, this is what I have seen. Tell someone. It cannot be that we have one more young person lost and there is no closure. I've spoken to our Minister of Police and he has assured me that they are doing everything possible to ensure that the investigation goes as it should go and that there will be no stones unturned. We're hoping that justice will be done. But it is us as a community who need to put our part as well. And I'm asking everyone to look after our children. I don't want to be doing this every week. I don't want to be doing this once a month. I don't want to be doing this once a year. But it is just for us to be looking after each other.
The murder has sent shockwaves through the entire nation, and up to date, no one has been charged for the incident. The police department keeps the investigation alive and are interrogating all those who may have useful information that can shed light into solving the case. Coming up next, Ministry of Education forms a pro tempore tertiary teacher training curriculum reform working group. Stay tuned.
If you're lucky, no matter what life hands you, you can always count on your closest friends to be there.
Oh, thank you. My purse was exhausted.
We are all blissfully unaware when our lives are about to change.
Life is full of surprises.
I'm ready to lose my virginity.
Excuse me?
I got the list.
What list? There's a whole brouhaha at school about this MILF list.
For real?
Our lunchtime fodder is not usually this lowbrow, I swear.
Really? Who have you been eating with?
It's a big step up for Che and me.
I've been having exit out of grief sex. It's just sex.
The world has changed since you've been out there. Men have feelings too.
Life's too short not to try something new. And just like that, I realized some things are better left in the past. But maybe not everything.
I'm most pleased to report that to the nation that we have been able to secure roughly $90 million for the construction of a new 150-bed modern national referral tertiary care hospital in Belize. Given the vulnerability of KHMH to hurricanes and floods, the strategic placement of this hospital in Bamapan represents an important part of our climate resiliency building strategy in the provision of health care. Noting increasing demands for primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare across the country, our administration has focused heavily on providing the delivery of healthcare services to Belizeans. As such, since coming to office, we have consistently expanded the delivery of primary care services through NHI. As you may recall, that it is in this financial year that the entire district of Farinjoak is for the first time being brought in with NHI. Increasing access to up to 40,000 Arinjokenyos. The year before, with the same budget that the UDP was using in Corozal for a small portion of the district, we expanded the full coverage of NHI in the Corozal district. So presently, we have almost 270,000 people that is going to be covered.
In some parts of the world, people are amazed at how delicious but expensive mangoes can be. In Belize, we are blessed to be able to access the fruit at a comfortable price. Today, Elmer Cornejo walked the main streets of town looking for mangoes and spoke to a nutrition specialist about the nutrition factors in a mango. Here is that report.
A mango is a fruit that relatively satisfies almost every palate. It's a drupe or stone fruit, which simply means it has a large seed in the middle. In Belize, people have cultivated it for hundreds of years, and in 2023, Belizeans are blessed to be able to choose from all types of mangoes, each with its own characteristic, taste, shape, size, and color. But one thing they have in common is their nutrition.
Mango is a hydrating summer fruit, which we have in season right now. Mango can provide us with vitamins and minerals, right? Examples are vitamin C, which can help us boost our immune system. It contains magnesium and phosphorus and potassium, which helps with our nerve function and as well as to prevent heart disease. Why? Because it helps to lower the blood pressure in our body.
One of the fruit's most impressive nutritional fact is that just 1 cup of the pulp provides nearly 67% of the DV for vitamin C. This water-soluble vitamin aids your immune system, helps your body absorb iron, and promotes cell growth and repair, according to nutritionist Wendy Sanchez.
It's a hydrating fruit that we must be consuming right now because of the amount of high temperatures that we have. So mango have a lot of has a high content of antioxidants, which helps to reduce the or fight the free radicals in our bodies that can affect our cells, right? So this means that we can fight with antioxidants and prevent the lead of cancer. So that's a really high content of antioxidant that mangoes contain.
And there are many mango recipes, some made especially for those who carry genetic or non-genetic diabetes and those engaged in exercise.
Mango is a low caloric fruit, but we should take in consideration that it should be consumed in moderation because of the amount of sugar that it contains, as well as diabetic persons. They can eat mango, but it should be in moderation because of the glucose content that it has. Because of the vitamin C, that helps to boost the immune system, so it helps to fight whenever we have the flu, right, or any type of infection that our body has. So that's a really good source of vitamin C, as well as the orange that we all know, right? But we should include not only the mango, but also a variety of fruits and vegetables that can help in general to increase or boost the immune system.
The bottom line is that mango is rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Scientifically, it has been associated with many health benefits, including potential anti-cancer effects, as well as improved immunity and digestive and eye health.
Mango helps a really important function when it deals to digestion because it's easy to digest, right? It's easy to digest, it has water, so it's nothing that our body can is difficult to digest. It's really easy to digest because the color is given due to the beta carotene that it has, as mentioned before, the amount of antioxidant that it has, which helps with cancer, right? To prevent what is cancer.
But the best thing is that the fruit is tasty and just as easy to add to your diet.
So we can add mango as in our salads, a normal salad, we can add mangoes like diced, right? Also in smoothies with some yogurt or nuts, cacahuates or peanuts, etc. Or also we can do like jam without conservatives, which is better and it's natural.
Cuando hay días buenos y días malos. En los días buenos a veces vendo hasta 75 mangos. Pero en días malos 40, que 50.
Estaba diciendo que cuando sus clientes son los que vienen en los autobuses de las aldeas, ¿va?
Sí, los clientes vienen de la aldea y ellos son los que compran, más los colegiantes.
¿Ah, sí?
Sí.
Hace como ratito dijo que tuvo bastantes clientes que vinieron a
Oh,
comprar.
sí, porque como están ahorita los estudiantes y como ellos entran y salen para lunch y vuelven a entrar. Entonces nosotros tenemos negocios con los estudiantes. Todos tenemos diferentes gustos. Entonces a mí me gusta más el camboleano.
¿Qué es esa?
Sí, yo creo que es este.
Ah, sí.
Pero como le digo, todos tenemos diferentes gustos. Hay unos que quieren ácido, otros dulces y así de que cada cabeza es different.
Remember that the next time you grab a mango, know that its consumption is associated with higher diet quality and better intakes of nutrients for children and adults. Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
Earlier this week, Minister of Health Kevin Bernard participated in the signing of the PAHO Country Cooperation Strategy 2023-2027 between PAHO and the government of Belize. The 5-year agreement seeks to reinforce already existing partnership between PAHO and the Ministry of Health with the aim of strengthening the national health system, utilizing strategic lines of action for the prevention and control of diseases and human resource development. The partnership with PAHO, according to Minister of Health Kevin Bernard, is further consolidated through the signing that is of this 5-year agreement and directly contributes to the vision of the MOHW in improving the quality of health care provided to all Belizeans.
Well, I think that the signing of the
company strategy today with PAHO is country strategy today with PAHO is very critical and important. It signals a few things. One, the main issue is that we want to ensure that we improve health systems, looking at the infrastructure, looking at the human resource, looking at the social determinants such as poverty that affects health within the whole overall scope of things. And so this signing signals the cooperation and the collaboration that we have had for the years and many years with PAHO and WHO, and also signals the Belize's commitment to continue that collaboration and that work together so that we can together achieve the objectives set out in those strategies, but at the end of the day to provide quality health care for our Belizean people.
Also present for the signing of the agreement was the Director of Hospital Services and Allied Health, Dr. Jorge Polanco, Delegate Andre Ruhanchel, and the PAHO country representative in Belize, Dr. Bell. A pro tempore tertiary teacher training curriculum reform working group has been constituted by the Ministry of Education. This group has representation from all teacher training institutions. The group's main aim is to transform competency-based education in Belize. The working group will be engaged until its task ends in August 2023 and are to review, reform, and standardize the existing teacher training programs. It must also come up with recommendations for teacher-educator training, amongst others. We spoke via Zoom with Janine Garbett-Franklin, who is the moderator of the group and the director of the Teacher Education Unit.
Yesterday, as was released to the media, the ministry has put together a pro-temporary tertiary teacher training curriculum reform working group, which identified 3 key priorities for that working group. The main area of focus would be to review, reform, and revise our present teacher training programs. That's the first priority identified and directly aligned to our Belize education sector plan as part of the effort to transform teacher education and the development of all programs that are currently offered through the tertiary education institutions. This task force will be working to review and revise those programs in alignment with the curriculum reform efforts. As you are aware, in July 2022, the ministry launched its national curriculum framework. So this work is directly aligned to ensuring that our teacher education programs are all moving towards the same direction in addressing competency-based education, that those principles that are needed to guide all the education institutions in standardizing their programs and in allowing us to better support and monitor what they are doing, this working group will be looking closely at those areas. What we would refer to as a framework that would guide teacher education, the National Curriculum Framework guides the development of curriculum for students. So in alignment with that, we would have a document that guides what it is that that would be taught at to teachers in the teacher preparation programs, the methodologies being used to prepare our teachers. And this is important to ensure that the outcomes that we expect from the delivery and implementation of the competency-based education framework would be achieved.
Though the work has just begun, the group is hopeful that implementation of the final document will be for the betterment of education and students.
The way we've operated in the past, there aren't clear guidelines, policies, and indicators for how we measure or standardize programs across. So having a framework is critical in periods of reform because it provides an outcome-based approach to ensuring that you know exactly what it is you're looking for, and then to be able to move towards achieving those expected outcomes. So it gives you the opportunity to respond, reflect, and structure changes that need to occur within the programs. So I'm sure that monitoring will happen, but it has to start with putting in place structures that would guide monitoring and evaluation of this entire process. This is a work in progress. It's something very much needed, long awaited for us to fully address, comprehensively address education in Belize. We know how critical it is for us to prepare teachers in the way that we want them to teach. And this effort will certainly help to establish and to move towards addressing what really matters in teaching and in teacher education. So if we expect a teacher to address teaching in the way that we want them to teach, then they must be taught in the same manner using methodologies that will support their own development. And it's continuous. So learning to teach occurs before we enter the profession, and until the time we leave the profession, it's continuous development. So if you were to review the Belize education sector plan, there are several strategies that or response actions that the ministry has identified to work towards achieving these expected outcomes and quality education for all our teachers and students.
The group is being chaired by Dr. Honorable Louisa Bani, who is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science, and Technology. All members have individually and unilaterally agreed to be part of the group as volunteers. Belize joins the world in solidarity in relation to the tragic loss of life that resulted from a fire that swept through the Madia Secondary School dormitory in Region 8 of Guyana. The Ministry of Education, Culture, Science, and Technology sent out a press release saying, quote, "We stand in solidarity with our regional counterparts at the Ministry of Education in Guyana during this time of great distress and sorrow. We also convey our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of the victims," unquote. The fire happened on Sunday night. Police and fire services are looking at a possible arson. When firefighters arrived around midnight on Sunday, the entire building was bursting in uncontrollable flames. 14 children died in the fire, while another 5 died in the hospital while receiving treatment. On the other hand, 6 children had to be airlifted for intense emergency medical care to the Georgetown, while 17 others were admitted to the local hospital. 13 DNA tests are being conducted to identify 13 of the victims. The youngest victims were 5 years old, the child of the dormitory's caretaker. We also reached out to the outgoing president of the Belize National Teachers Union, Senator Elena Smith, for comment, but she was engaged in an all-day meeting. However, via WhatsApp, she says, quote, "We are deeply saddened by that tragedy and have sent our condolences via the Caribbean Union of Teachers. We send prayers for the affected families, teachers, and friends of those who perished," unquote. The president of Guyana decreed 3 days of mourning. Today, Prime Minister John Briseno departed the country en route to Busan, South Korea, where he will attend the World Climate Industry Expo 2023 Leaders Summit. Joining Prime Minister Briseno at the summit are Eamon Courtney, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Immigration, and Dr. Osmond Martinez, Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Economic Development. The Prime Minister will also meet with Han Duck-soo, Prime Minister of South Korea. During his absence, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Natural Resources, Petroleum and Mining, Cordell Hyde, will hold over as Prime Minister. The Prime Minister will return to Belize on May 29, 2023. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, May 24th, here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.